Welcome gamers to a one-off video. I'm going to be showing Tiny Combat Arena, which is a flight sim. I know that's not my normal fare on this channel, but I do actually enjoy flight sims. And this is one that is made by Microprose, which is the gaming company that used to be around back in the 1990s. 1980s, I think, probably when they first sort of started. Anyway, they did a lot of flight sims, all sorts of different strategy games. It's really great to see Microprose come back the way that they have. They've got some really, really excellent games. It's like a lot in development and a lot that they've actually now released as well. Like you've got things like High Fleet and games like that as well. But anyway, Tiny Combat Arena has been in early access. You can see in the bottom right-hand corner there where it's sort of showing like a number. Well, you can see there, follow development. It's got version 0.8.0.3. And it says it's going into launch in a couple of days' time. It's not really a launch because I think there's still a lot to do. What I might do, though, is just show you what the game actually has got, just so you get a bit of a feel for it. I think we'll start straight into the action. That way, at least you get a feel for what it is like, and then I'll go through the specifics after that. So if we just go into Arena Demo, I will sort of fly. We've got like different flights coming through here. US forces. We've got Soviet forces back over here. This is a Cold War sort of era. So I'm just going to start the sortie. Now I've just got all of my stuff sort of set up fairly quickly. I'm just going to go across, try to find where the enemy is coming from. I'm really bad at this, by the way, but I do enjoy it. I do enjoy flight sims. In fact, when I first got the Windows computer, that one of the reasons I got it was to play like this is back in the early 90s, was there was a game called Battle of Britain, which I really, really liked. You know, what have we got through there? I've just locked the target in. Let's see if we can get something going through here. Wrong one. Anyway, let's just relock this target. My friend here's probably going to get the shot on this one, I think. I can't quite do it. I'm really, really bad at this. Yeah, somebody else has got it. All right, just look down at the on the bottom right there. We can sort of see that there's another one that we're coming around towards. Let's keep it going. You see there's ground forces and all sorts of things like this going on. Now there we go. We've got something ahead of us. Go and target these. We do have a lock. Let's fire a missile. Probably going to drop chaff. Got it. Okay, we got that with our missile actually. That was awesome. And we've got things like, you know, we can just sort of see ourselves fly by. We can do a chase as well. It's really got the old Microprose flight sim feel, which is I really, really like. F1 brings it back in. It's pretty a bit loud outside the cockpit. Isn't it cool though? Actually, now I'm not seeing. We've still got two enemy craft that I can sort of spot. So I'll just bring this one around. There they are. There's one. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Yep, we got it. So down she goes. Awesome. Alright, we've got 2 kills there. That's good going for us. I say us, I mean me. Because I really am bad at this game. I'm bad at all flight sims, but I do enjoy them, I've got to say. Now, how far are we off the ground? We're about 400 feet, so we're pretty low. Let's go and shoot some different vehicles now. We can also shoot air bases. I think we've done all of the aircraft. I can't see anything in the scan, in the radar scan at the back there. There we go. That's a base there. Got these BTRs. Let's just go and queue up some of these. Now, it doesn't really matter which one I sort of have highlighted. I'll just, it will lock in at some point. As long as I get close to it. Got it, and bang, gone. I sort of hit the ground there. Hit the ground running. So that's the actual little arena at this stage. I can see the game just getting bigger and bigger and growing. This goes the BTR sort of off to sort of capture their territory, and we're now in free camera mode, so we can sort of now sort of zoom through and have a look at what's going on. So this is where we actually hit. I know that's one of the tanks that we destroyed. We can sort of see the BTR sort of running across the ground now, coming across to try to take an objective. It is very, very well done. Like it's got these really nice, simple little graphics. I can do other follows. So I follow other crafting. Might be a bit loud. I'll just do these sorts of things. These are now just patrolling the airways, but there is nothing left. Like all of the aircraft have been shot down. Let's just press escape, and we'll end the sortie, and then we can have a bit of a look. So yes. There we go. So this is actually what happened with our stats. So results from the arena flight. You can see there it lasted 4 minutes and 3 seconds. Pilot status, killed in action. Aircraft status, destroyed. And targets captured, none. Targets lost, none. So this is sort of like the overall, what sort of does go on through this side. Campaign status, situation, disadvantage, bases, 2 of 5, 40%. So anyway, it looks like we've lost a few things on the ground there, and we've then just got like a few different pages in through here as well. So we've got destroyed. We did destroy 2 fighters. You can see there's attackers, bombers, and rotary craft as well. That's why they're saying it's launching, but it's not launching yet. There's still a lot more that they can actually add in. We got 1 armor as well, so we got a total of 3 kills in there. Now, as far as this is essentially all the allied kills. 4 fighters were destroyed, 6 armor, 12 vehicles, total of 22, and then finally the enemy kills. They only got rid of 1 armor, so we certainly did well there. So I think that even if we weren't winning the ground war, we certainly would have, just the way that we're looking at the damage that was actually done to their armor and vehicles. So we'll close that one off, and so this is this essentially is the free camera mode. I'll just go back to the main menu. And we'll talk a little bit about the actual game. There's numerous ways of playing the game. Like that's the arena. Now, I don't know if there's other plans to add other arenas or to change different ways of doing this one, but this I think is really, this is where the game is a lot of fun. There's a lot going on. It would be great if they had a whole lot more. I'm not sure if they will. I don't really know. They do actually have a Trello setting, and I did have a look at this just to sort of see what the development was, and there was a lot of reds and oranges with different things that hadn't been built yet or hadn't been started. There was a lot of greens in there as well, but it certainly means that there's a lot more plans for this particular one. It's only a single developer as well, by the way. Like it's only a single guy sort of putting it all together as the actual developer, and Microprose then doing the publishing of it. But it's very, very cool the way it sort of does work. You've got a Discord server in through there. That's for all of the Microprose games, which I think is, I did actually join that because I thought, yeah, that's actually worth having a look at. As I say, I loved Microprose back in the 1990s, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing so far with in the 2020s. So here we are 30 odd years later. You've got changelogs and stuff like that. I won't bother opening all this stuff up. But you've got things like, for example, I'll come back to the settings at the very, very end just to go through them. It took me a little bit of trouble to get my joystick set up, and that was mainly because I don't use it for anything, so I'm not used to doing it, but I will go through what I had to do to sort of get that one to work. In the end, it was quite easy, but I didn't realise it at the time. Quick battle mode. We've got 3 different ways of playing this one. You've only got 1 map at the moment, so I'm guessing that will come at some point. There's only 1 of 1. So again, you can sort of see there that there's room for manoeuvre with what they've actually sort of done through here. This is a small island chain used for training. So size is just 50 kilometres by 50 kilometres with 2 airfields on it. So we'll just go back. Then you've got time of day. You've got like different times. So dawn, morning, noon, afternoon, or evening. Through there, you've got 3 different sorts of missions as well. You've got free flight, which is just basically fly around and no problem at all, just get used to landing or taking off, whatever else you want to be doing. And you can also then start, for example, at the on the runway or on the ramp, sort of before you get onto the runway. Now you're flying a Harrier, a jump jet, like a Harrier jump jet. You can, and I haven't tried taking off with the jump jets side of things. Maybe we'll give that a bit of a crack and see how we go. And then you've got different sorts of airfields on the actual on this one as well. So the Nazaranami Air Base, the Tomararu Air Base, etc., etc. So you've got those in through there. That's your free flight. Then you have a dogfight scenario, and this is quite cool. We can sort of set up like situation neutral, where you're basically sort of both at equal heights, I guess. The height in through there again as well, you can sort of set that one to wherever you actually want that to be. The Allied Air Wings, so you've got like 4 rookie F5Es. Now, you don't get to fly these. If I just go and click on other ones, you can sort of see there, these are what we actually have. We're flying the AV-8B, is the Harrier. We've got other things like, for example, the F4s and the F5s from the American forces. Then we've got two MiGs types as well in through that side. You can then sort of also set up how many you're going to have and what number you're going to have actually in the sorties as well. So it sort of just keeps the flights together. We'll just cancel that one. So you can have up to 4 different flights with up to 4 different aircraft on each one. So you can see we've got rookie F5Es and we've got rookie MiG-21s as well coming in from the enemy side. The loadout is just going to be for dogfight. You can change it to air superiority or just guns only, whatever you want to actually then do. And the starting distance of like 5 miles. So that ends up sort of putting you into a little dogfight mission. These are really, really designed to be fast and simple. That's why it's called like the Tiny Combat Arena. It really is just a jump in and have some fun. And as I say, I really like that aspect of it. It's sort of, I love playing these sorts of games, but I'm very, very, very bad at them. So it's cool having rookies that you can sort of then go and put in. The idea of this is not to be realistic or not too realistic. Although to be honest, I am impressed with the way that the guns are sort of, you've got to sort of make sure that you're not just firing straight out of the middle. It does actually, you've got to sort of chase your enemy as it goes through. So I'm finding it certainly a lot better than the 1990s Microprose flight sims. I'm finding it a bit easier than that. And plus you've got like a lot more tools. I guess you've got a bigger screen, so it certainly does make it easier than playing on what would have been there, a 640 by 800 or something like that. I don't know what the sizes were back there. Anyway, you can start the sorties there. And then you've got another one as well, which is a strike mission. And so this is actually where you have a bit more complex, where you've got like the map is Sand Island, the time of day, again, a mission strike. And you've got your allied and enemy forces, the distance in through there. So you can go through two different factions, either United States or Soviets, with the different sorts of what they actually have. You can set up vehicle formations, so armoured M60s. So you've got the Abrams, the M60s, mechanised or anti-aircraft back and through that side. You can set up to 3 of those. I guess if we went for, say, armoured, yeah, so you can have like vehicle formations, and then they've got like the T-80s, T-62s, the BTR-70s, and then the Shilkas, the anti-aircraft in through there. So you can just set up your formations, whatever you want to have in through here. Aircraft wings as well, just to try to protect the actual, for what these actually are. The target is the Army airfield. I'm guessing that's all we actually have on this particular map. But it's very, very cool the way it sort of does work, and then you can sort of start the sortie. I won't play this one, although maybe I will. So that's the enemy forces back in through there. We might just do some damage here. Just wait for us to get a little bit closer. Got a lock, and didn't quite get the kill. I'm going to have to pull out. Just move this one across, bring it around. Anyway, I don't think you really want to see me fumble my way through the game and the different sorts of things. I should have probably locked the target on. I do have different loadouts as well. Like this is a Mark 83 bomb. I'll see if I can actually use that. See if that will actually work. There's our M1s. They're streaming towards each other. Come on, where are you? Here they come. No. It's not going to do it. All right, let's just get out of there. So we'll abort the sortie. And again, we sort of get to sort of see what went on with those 3 different areas. I don't think anyone got anything actually all the way through. No, there's nothing there. We'll just close it off. So that's they're the different ways of playing. Like you got the quick battle and then the arena as well. Now, as I say, I do hope that they add more and more to this game. It looks like they will. If you have a quick look at the database, this is the sorts of weaponry that you can just sort of see what might be coming. So we've got like the different aircraft. This is the fixed wing aircraft. It's got all selected. You can sort of designate it by fighter craft. So you've got the M4s and have a bit of a look at what they all have, the loadouts. You can change it without the user interface for them, but you sort of get like a bit of a feel for what's going on through here. The F5s, then the MiGs as well. So the different sorts of MiGs that they actually have in through that side. Fighter craft, that's what we had a look at. Attacker is the Harrier, which is what we actually are flying. So we're flying this one, and It's I should actually see how to take off. I forget how to actually take off vertically. Maybe we'll try that just at the very end of this. So that's the Harrier. It's then got things like bombers, but it doesn't actually have anything listed. It's got support as well and transport. So obviously there's a lot more things coming. Then you've got air defence. Now air defence is you've got your you've got a fair few different things. You've got your Shilkas back and through this side, so that's your anti-aircraft there. You've got the M163 as well. That's your American ones. Then you've got different missiles. So this is like your the munitions for different things. There's your Strela as well. So you've got like a few different ways of having like anti-aircraft sort of coming into the game, and these are in the actual game itself. Again, though, it's got mobile guns, mobile missiles in through there, stationary back in through that side, and then radar as well, which isn't showing up. So there certainly are different ways of having a look at this one. Mobile, the Strela back and through there again as well. So that's the air defence. You've got munitions, so you've got all sorts of different sorts of loadouts and weapons that you can actually sort of put on, like different sorts of missiles that would then be loaded onto your like this is your anti-aircraft. The anti-air. Pretty sure that is the AIM 9s and so on and so forth. You've got where was it? The Mark 83, I think, was the one that we actually had, which is an unguided 1,000-pound high explosive bomb with low drag. Unguided bombs are well suited to taking out structures due to their high impact damage. So that's really what we had. We had that one loaded on, but I was trying to sort of get it to work against a mobile force, which probably wasn't the best idea. There's lots and lots of stuff in through here. Like you've got like bombs, as I say, a few of them in through there. You've got rockets, nothing up in through there yet. Utilities. So this is is this fuel? Yeah, external fuel tanks and surface-to-air missiles. That's the we saw them sort of before as well. Actually, yeah, so they're still actually back in there. The air-to-ground missiles, the AGMs. So and then you've got the air-to-air, all those different aims, and then the Russian equivalents, I guess. So then we've got, so that's munitions. You've got rotary wing, but nothing in there yet. So that's interesting. It looks like they're going to be having helicopters at some point. The vehicles we saw there before, like like if we have a look at the M1s, there's the M1 Abrams. We've got the T80 in through there as well, heavily armoured. T80 tank is complex and deadly tank. So they've got all these things sort of in there as well. So that's armour. Down through there, mechanised. They don't actually have mechanised yet. Transports, so the M113 and the BTR-70, and then utilities they don't actually have there. So there's a lot of stuff going to be coming here, which I think is quite interesting. Then it's got sea as well, which but there's nothing in the sea. So there's a lot of scope coming. That's why I'm sort of surprised they're calling it a launch and not something else. It's a funny way to. Look, in my opinion, I think a launch should be when it's all feature complete, but it looks like it's not feature complete yet. So I'll exit the database, and I'll just go through how I set the game up as well, and we'll have a look and see if we can figure out how to launch this thing from using its VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing. So we just go back in through this side. So you've got sort of like how to set the game up, which is it's got like a lot of stuff in here as you'd expect with a flight sim. Gameplay and through here, damage you can sort of have it. So I've got it like on reduced and fuel consumption on half, unlimited gun ammo. Stores weight is going to be weighted, so you can actually have it where it doesn't weigh you down. G-forces on pilot, so full G-forces. Again, you've got different ways of changing what's going to happen with the actual gameplay. Whatever you feel like. It is only a single-player game. Block input on free cam. I'm not sure what that is. That's the camera. Chase camera roll. Not sure what that actually is. That's horizon or aircraft. That's interesting. I might just leave that one on. Block input from FreeCam. Well, it does tell you what these things actually are. I haven't read all this, obviously. I'll just keep it on horizon. Camera shake. You can sort of change this as well, this setting. Strength of the camera shake caused by explosions, gunfire, etc. The HUD style, you've got HMD. The HUD follows the player view in the cockpit, allowing its information to be seen at all times, or fixed. The HUD stays fixed forward inside the cockpit, more easily mimicking how a real HUD would appear. I have been just playing with this one in through this side, so you can always sort of see it, and then the HUD scale as well, so you can actually sort of change all that. So there's a lot of just little quality of life things. Audio, pretty basic. I won't worry about that one. Controls, this is where I sort of had a bit of trouble, I guess, trying to set the joystick up. So I'll just very quickly go through. If you do get the game and you're trying to figure out, okay, what do I need to do? It is quite easy ultimately. So you can rerun the first time setup when you actually do it. So maybe I'll just do that one. Let's just run this one. This one comes up, and I think if I click on the joystick, or HOTAS, I'm not sure what that stands for. Anyway, I'll just go and click on that one, which may then open it all back up. Let's have a look at the flights. No, it didn't actually. So can I go back to default? I'd have to sort of get rid of all of the things that I've set up in through here. So what I've done is I've got I'll just go through it. It's essentially the way it sort of does work. I found it awkward using the mouse and also the keyboard. I'm used to playing with a keyboard like from the 1990s, like using, but not having a W and S as throttle up and throttle down. So that sort of threw me off a little bit. And I couldn't figure out really the best way of doing my ups and downs in through here. And so what I've got with my controller is I've now set up like axis 1 is literally the joystick sort of pushing back or forwards. Now, this means that it's been inverted. I was sort of finding that I was getting stuck there a little bit. And I also had set up, like I've got the pitch axis in through there. You don't need to do your up and down specifically if you have your axis. Now, originally I was coming into here, just leaving it or clicking the button, and then I was just going to go up. I want it to go pull back on it, and it would go axis +1. And then this started to fight with that and sort of cancel each other out. And so don't do that. Just remove that. You only need the axis where you sort of got that one sort of set. And then roll axis. I've got the yaw axis as well. I've put them both to axis 0. I probably don't need that as so much, but I might just ditch that one. Just remove that one, for example. And I found that I had to invert what was actually being sort of brought through. So get used to doing that as well. Axis 6 is I've got like on my actual I've got a Thrustmaster, like an old Thrustmaster. I don't know how old it is. It's a fair few years old, but it does actually have a throttle on the side of it, and so I wanted that throttle to work, and I did get this one wrong. Now, what I did there was I did actually go and select the axis, and so I put that one in there with no problem. I found I did have to invert it as well, so just be prepared. You may have to do that one. I didn't have to do much else. The rest of it's all just keyboard and keyboard and then the controller, but I don't need a lot of these, like the VTOL nozzle axis. I can do that with the, so this is VTOL raised nozzle is E, and VTOL lower nozzle is Q. So that's one thing we're going to try that one. So we'll give that one a bit of a crack and just see how that one actually does work. So all of your landing sort of stuff, if you are wanting to get into the landing, you've got the landing gear is G, toggle flaps is F, B is brake as well. Like you've got that's the flight. You've got view select as well. This sort of gives you different views. We might have a look at that as well when we're starting to try to take off. The camera in through there as well, like different ways of controlling the camera, which it's only the free cam when you go down to this one down through this side. Weapons in through there as well, so you've got like different ways where I did actually go through on my controller and set up the different buttons just to sort of see if I could actually use that effectively. So I've got like a fair few different buttons on my controller, and so I just sort of made it fairly sort of simple there, like fire gun, release weapon, so select next weapon, lock target. So I just put them into different buttons. By default, you can use T, which probably would be just as easy actually, to be honest, and then Shift T to unlock the same target if you're wanting to. But it's easier just to keep on pressing and locking each target in one by one. Drop flares, drop chaff in through there as well. Drop them both. You've got a mouse button for if you're wanting to sort of use your mouse to do that. Not that you've got a mouse, keyboard and joystick. So, and then if you go to calibrate, this is actually where I did actually have to set up for the flights for this axis 6. I'll just show you sort of what I had to do with that. I did read about it afterwards, and initially I was trying to figure out why everything was going a bit haywire, like it wasn't working the way I wanted it to work. And so if I go to calibrate, and this is the different axes that you sort of have, it's quite cool the way it does work. You can sort of then tweak what's going on, like with the way that you can actually just do a calibration and have and sort of calibrate it all for you, which I did do for each of these. I went to axis 6, and so this is actually what I had to do with axis 6 is I had to go and change the 0 point all the way up to basically that's where it is by default in the middle. But for a thruster, push it all the way out so that it actually just sort of hits the sort of like the outside edge there. So that's going to be where we want that. So it starts off at 1. Now the way that my thruster works, I did have to have it inverted, which is why I've got that little sort of that inversion in through there. I can invert it here as well if I wanted to. And then just basically with the thruster, you can sort of see when I go all the way back. Now that's probably not quite where I want that to go. I want that to be, I want the 0 to be sort of right on where that line is there. So that's when the thruster is set back in the no thrust position. And then when I push it into the other side, I want to make sure that the sensitivity is such that it sort of maxes out. So it doesn't quite go to the edge with the way it's calibrated. So it goes from there, which is still not quite 0. I'll just go back and just pull the 0 back slightly. I'll just get it right on that limit there. And then when it sort of starts to go forward, it then is going to go up. So it goes from 1 to -1. Back through that side there. So that one's still okay. That's still sort of working out okay. That's all you need it to do, is just basically to have this one sort of go across so that you end up with that one there, and it's essentially that one there that you do want it to go, but you want it to go from 0. Actually, we'll just tweak that a little bit, so just make it so that it just goes very slightly on that to that 0 mark. So from 0 to 1 to -1. And then just have it inverted essentially. So I could invert it here and then have it not inverted there if I wanted to. But anyway, that was the one little trick that I did need to sort of get done to sort of make it sort of then work. So I'll just click on done. So that was sort of setting up the controller, which was, as I say, much easier than what I was finding it. I was sort of doing all sorts of things wrong until I really started to have a real close look at what was actually happening and a bit of experimentation. So if that does save you a few minutes, then hopefully that will be good. I won't restore the defaults. I'll just leave that one there. And look, we'll finish this one off with, we'll just go back into quick battle. I'll just go back into a free flight, and we'll just see if we can actually get this thing off the ground. So I'm just putting my throttle into a neutral position. We'll start on the ramp, and we'll start the sortie. Now, I haven't tried this before, so we'll just give this one a bit of a crack. So we're in here. Now, I'm just going to start moving the throttle up a little bit. In fact, let's just leave it here. I'm just going to press the B and put the brakes on. So that's the brake. I'm just going to turn the brake off again. So the brake has now been depressed. I'll just go from the side. Now, if I do the Q&E, there's the jets. See how they're moving down? And now if I push the throttle up, there we go. Nice. Is it nice? I think it is. I think it's nice. E4, just do a flyby. Okay, E. Come on! Anyway, you get the idea. I guess we've got to get a bit more speed before we start. I might have done that a little bit too quickly. Anyway, it's a cool game. It's very, very cool. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.